I've been hyping something up for a little while now. A couple times here and there on videos, all the time on stream, but I decided to finally make a video about the Ninja Mirror Match. This is a mirror match I've played most often out of all of them, and one of my favorite ways to enjoy the game. I mean, come on, I'm playing Ninja, let me have some fun. I'm an expert at that. This video will serve as a guide to playing ninjas, specifically from the angle of a ninja mirror match. What cards are good against ninja monsters specifically, what you can get away with doing here that you can't in other places, and different ways you can win. I'm also aware of the fact that these kinds of videos can be extremely boring if done incorrectly. To help with this problem, please enjoy a few of my Yu-Gi-Oh related posts that I've made over the past year or so, which never made it to a video. Hey, it's this or put Subway Surfers footage beneath the video, so I think this is a better option. You'll enjoy. Now, the Ninja Mirror Match. Of course you can use whichever cards you want when playing Yu-Gi-Oh, whichever you need to make it fun. The concept of X cards defining what you can call a deck is extremely reductive, but in this case it's important to ensure that you're playing ninja cards, ninja monsters, and ninjutsu back row for the authentic ninja experience. These aren't rules, but guidelines as to best experience the Ninja Mirror Match. It's recommended to have at least 20 cards in your main and side deck from the ninja archetype. After reviewing a couple of ninja lists that I saw submitted to me, I am going to say that 15 to 20 is more like a good recommended minimum, because 20 is a lot. You can play Staples if you want, and a few are quite good in this mirror, but keep in mind that you're this far into the video. Are you really gonna get a friend to play around with you and just activate evenly matched? If so, you suck. Otherwise, just play as you would any other TCG duel. There's a boatload of variety in ninja deck building, so you'll have plenty of choices as how to fill up your lists. And everyone on this planet doesn't know these cards like the back of their hand, so let's cover the most valuable ninja monsters you would consider running. The staples out of this newest batch of support are Yugioh, boasting an effect which puts 2 of any targeted monsters on field to face down defense position, yours or your opponent's, and popping a card once per turn when a monster is flipped face up is an absolutely essential end board piece in this deck. Monsters your opponent controls cannot flip face up again, but they can be used for contact fusion material, we'll get to that later, so this is a decent way to force your opponent into making contact fusions out of their contact fusions you flipped face down, to keep advantage out of their favor. It's a very easy to access level 8, which is important for a certain ninjutsu art card. Kagero does an insane amount of work for the deck. On normal, special, or flipping face up, it summons any ninja from your hand or graveyard that can be summoned in face down defense position, and does so. It also bounces whichever of your cards your opponent targets with their effects, and summons itself back from the grave face down, to use its special summon effect again when you flip it up. Kagero returns ninja monsters which have already activated to the hand, and prevents targeted removal in cards like Imperm and Veiler from getting a chance to stop you. Baku is an amazing payoff for the banishment aspect of the deck, like the cost of protecting with your field spell. Whenever it gets added back to the hand from deck, graveyard, banished, or your opponent's deck, it summons itself like Salamangreat Mirror. Then, when special summoned or flipped face up, it adds any of your ninja cards, monsters, spells, or traps, from the graveyard or field to the hand. This lets you reuse a couple of soft once per turns on field too. If any monster is special summoned to your field face up, you can special summon Green Ninja and flip that special summoned monster face down to recycle flip effects, and when it goes from hand to field to the graveyard, it can flip a monster on field to face up attack or face down defense position. I find myself using this as an interrupt pretty dang often. When you pitch it for effects or use it for link material, once you get a single one into rotation, it's all you really need. Very good for quick effect fusion summoning. There's a lot of moving parts in this deck. Mitsu summons itself while you control a ninja or a face down monster, and flips a monster face up and itself face down when your opponent activates a monster effect. If you flip a ninja, you negate their effect. The low level ease of access and insect typing make Mitsu just as valuable as an extender or interruption, recycling flip effects and triggering Yugioh. She also makes us the only Xyz material in archetype for your rank 2 ninja, besides Green Ninja of course. Tobari is a card I would love to see retrained for other archetypes. What it does is so sick. Graveyard setup on the lowest level you can get, that summons just about any ninja monster you could want from your hand face up or face down. The turn it's special summoned or flipped up is protected from battle and card destruction like a cute little Pac-Man Towers, and on the opponent's turn, it's a quick effect fusion summon. using monsters in hand or on the field, which helps to fulfill certain requirements on your fusion monsters and get that aforementioned green ninja into the graveyard. Tobari ups the value of every single ninja monster, especially the fusion monsters, and boy, those fusion monsters really are something. Meizen is one of the big pieces that makes this mirror match wild. Every ninja attacks directly while it's on field. It's an easy contact fusion, only requiring 2 ninjas with different types, making Tobari's winged beast typing even stronger. And in response to a card or effect, you can special summon a ninja from your deck in face up or face down defense position. The scattered gimmick of ninjas direct attacking becomes a semi-legitimate win condition. Don't try to summon Hanzo and get an effect, their lame ass misses timing. I'm sure you'll have a good time chaining Meizen to Meizen and changing your summons from deck based on what your opponent picks. It makes the battle phase pretty funny too, since even though you're mostly going to be attacking directly, if you need to attack into a monster, Meizen forces you into attacking a face down monster before Meizen, hence, more triggers for your best cards. You also have a tricky way in the deck to turn certain monsters your opponent controls and your own into ninjas, which can make for some really funny direct attack situations. Yugioh is about as easy to access as Meizen, if not more. It's an instant fusion target, but needs the exact same materials to contact fuse as Meizen. When you flip face up or special summon this monster, you can banish a ninja from your hand, field, or graveyard, or do the same with the ninjutsu back row, to target a card on either field and banish it. When it comes to resetting some effects on flip monsters, Yugioh is usually one of my first considerations, especially for how well it plays into the Baku lines of play, which you will see completed later. It lets this deck actually remove stuff and plays into some pre-existing gimmicks. I like it a lot. It cannot banish itself for cost though, so it's not just a free removal spell with instant fusion. There's a tiny bit more to it than that. Novel Ninjutsu Art Book is once again a card I wish every deck I liked had. Almost immediate access to every single one of your 2-card setups you could ask for. Even if you have to set this card on turn 1, without any ninjutsu art cards in the graveyard, when you have access to other ninja support like Green Ninja, quick access to a Yugioh for the effects of the levels isn't that bad at all. Every time I look at Ninjutsu Art Tool Iron Digger, this card does something new. Banish any ninja card from the graveyard to target a card on field and destroy it while it's equipped to a monster. You either use this as a piece of removal for whatever's causing you problems on field without committing to a monster effect, or you can use it to destroy itself or link off the monster it's attached to immediately recover one of the banished ninja monsters you have to either your hand or face down on your field. It could even be the one you just banished. You're banishing Baku. You're gonna be banishing Baku a lot. This is really the card that makes Baku such a viable piece of support in the first place. Without this card, Baku wouldn't be nearly as good. Despite all this, I don't know if it's a staple in every build of the deck. And now for one of the cards in the category that makes these mirror matches so insane, we have the Fallen Leaves stance. On its own, it's just a trap that transmodifies one ninja on field or a face-down monster on field into any ninja monster from the deck. Like a lot of the past ninjutsu art cards, but much less gimmicky. It gets you exactly what you're looking for. It also recycles itself or other ninja art cards fairly well, although you can't use both of its effects in one turn. You're typically setting it, using its effect the next turn, and then putting it back in your hand on turn 3 just so you can keep summoning stuff from the deck. It's not a wrong way to use it, but it gets more complicated. Against a deck without ninja cards, you have the option to tribute your opponent's set monsters on field to summon a ninja from the deck, more reward for Yugioh and such. However, you are allowed to tribute any ninja monster on the field, so this goes from spot removal to any ninja access you want to take, to something almost guaranteed to get you a +1 every time it pops off. This card is absolutely necessary, but because of how self-recursive it is and how much it does, you can probably get away with playing it at fewer copies. In a ninja mirror match though, I don't know why you'd want to. Oh, you can also equip your Iron Digger to a monster your opponent controls that is not a ninja, and then tribute that as material, because whatever monster that card is attached to is also treated as a ninja monster. I am not a fan of the World Shrouded in Darkness. It's a decent punish for mass backer removal, and its effect to pop a card every time you do battle damage will be destroying an amount of cards, but I'm really attached to Hidden Village, and how it works independently of you needing to control monsters that can attack directly usually. If you're cooler than me though, go for it.
Wait. He's not done yet. Stick around for a little more TallerVision.
Shut your jealous ass up. You wearing pajamas out here. You just mad because I got the drip. Look.
Are you posing right now?
Yes.
You know you look stupid as fuck, right?
Shut your ass up. Sam read the fish finder like his favorite book, and said, "Jeff, you got bait on your hook? There's a big one down there. It's a Chinook." He gunned the troller. Gave me a look.
I come to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch-ass motherfucker.
I knew you'd change your mind. Back to TallerVision.
Now we go back to some classics, some earlier releases. Here are your familiar faces. Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo is so close to being perfect, with an effect on normal summon to search a ninjutsu art spell trap, and an effect on special summon to search a ninja monster. He would be an absolute darling if he didn't miss the timing when he was special summoned off of a Meizen. Fortunately, it works with Tobari, and I would die for Tobari. You need to play this one. Your deck really can't function without Hanzo, not once per turn either, so certain effects let you take advantage of that. Upstart Golden Ninja is very build dependent. I personally don't care for it in the variants I play. The cost is very high, but trap hybrids or builds that just want easy rank 4 lines have an excuse to run this. There are some pretty powerful ninja monsters on the level 4 or lower range. I don't know, sending an Eldritch trap is probably comedy. Now for another strong one I hardly ever touch, we have Twilight Ninja Getsuga. For its tribute summon, you only need one ninja monster for tribute, but I feel like you're not going to be summoning it that way often. In attack position, it turns itself to defense position, and chooses 2 ninja monsters in your graveyard, including all of your extra deck monsters, even the Link, and special summons them. You're usually spending your normal summon on a small boy, but it's nice that Getsuga has that option, stopping it from being dead in hand quite as often. It may be more situational than I like, but Twilight Ninja Joken, it does get you another warrior body on field without technically making you go minus. I mean, I am running as many ninjutsu art cards as I can, those cards are cracked, but I don't want to be told in what order to make my plays. It's also a pendulum scale, which is important in making your scales with a soul if you want to do that, which gives your ninja monsters piercing battle damage. Maybe make that Shrouded in Darkness a little easier to activate if you somehow don't have a Meizen on field by that point. Karakuri Ninja Saznak is worth looking into for its simple banish effect on flip face up. This is one of the few ninja monsters that comes from a separate archetype that's actually worth playing in the deck. There are a few more though, so it's not quite that alone. The deck is already so full of removal, it's just an option. Also, if you're trying to take advantage of more monster types to easier access certain monsters in the extra deck, your level 5 fusion is the only other machine ninja that you're really running, and I doubt that the both of them will be optional for material at the same time. Saizo is an incredibly powerful option that is more accessible than your fusion monsters because it needs less specific materials. However, what you're making here isn't quite as impactful as your 2 fusion monsters, but does help you to get to everything. Once per turn, it gives you access to your entire back row lineup, albeit at a slower pace than you would like for some of them, setting the cards directly from the deck rather than adding them to the hand, so you can't use your quick play immediately after you set it. There are still plenty of important cards this gets you to though. This card is also untargetable by attacks and card effects while it points to a monster. Some games I don't summon it, sometimes I keep it sitting and grabbing back row every turn, sometimes I use it once and simply tribute it off as fusion material. Ninjutsu Art Notebook, the continuous spell, does the same job as the Link monster, although this one requires you to send a ninja monster from your hand to the graveyard. It's a good grab off of the quick spell Notebook, since you can activate it immediately after setting it, and puts banish fodder in the graveyard. It's also a soft once per turn, so if you manage to resolve this effect and loop it back to the hand somehow, probably with a Baku bounce, you get to use it all over again. Loops, part of a balanced combo. Ninjutsu Art of Duplication is an insane payoff for playing the high level ninjas and even some of the mid level ones. This one has existed for a good while before the newest support, and definitely influenced the design direction to make a good lot of the new ninjas low levels. For example, in a vacuum, if you were to normal summon Hanzo, set the Art of Duplication after searching it with your normal summon effect, and pass turn, the Art of Duplication would give you access to 2 copies of Tobari, one face up and one face down, and a face up copy of Insect Ninja Mitsu after tributing this Hanzo. That's a negate of a monster effect and access to both of your fusion monsters, one of which is removal and the other gets any ninja from deck. Once you're tributing Yugioh or Getsuga, that's when you're basically in sandbox mode. Hell, you can even summon yourself one of the dragon ninjas and have levels to spare for a Tobari. And the last of the staples, the Hidden Village of Ninjutsu Arts. You know, I'm a big fan of field spells that do as much as they can without even searching a card. Searching is cool, but Hidden Village is strong enough to rely on. you have once per turn destruction effect protection for any ninja monster or face-up ninjutsu art card on the field by banishing a ninja monster from your graveyard. And once per turn, when a monster in the ninja archetype is special summoned, add a ninja monster or ninjutsu art spell trap from your graveyard to your hand, but the effect cannot be activated for the rest of the turn. You typically use this for stuff you've already gone through that turn, or for trap cards that you can't activate the turn you set anyway. Feels real good to set your art notebook for the turn after you put it in the graveyard, and it just lets you keep on chugging. This archetype is full of continuous trap cards which allow you to special summon many different types of monsters generically from the deck. While on paper they were probably meant to access the different larger forms of the ninjas, we also have dancing leaves and duplication to fill in that space. Ninjutsu Art of Transformation tributes a ninja monster to summon a beast, winged beast, or insect monster from the deck with a level less than or equal to the level of the tributed monster, +3. This means if you simply tribute a Hanzo at level 4, you can access monsters in the pool up to level 7. This card specifically enables you to summon some pretty decent floodgates, some of the most popular choices being King Tiger Wangu and Scary Moth. The former floodgating monsters under 1400 attack on summon and destroying them, the latter limiting both players to 1 special summon per turn. This is a decent option if you want to build a crawler version of the deck, for which there is more synergy than I initially realized. Ninjutsu Art of Super Transformation works in a similar way, tributing a ninja monster and an opponent's monster with a level to summon a dragon, dinosaur, or sea serpent from your deck with a lower level than the combined levels of the 2 monsters you sent. There are plenty of dragons and dinosaurs which you would want to summon during your opponent's turn, including Fallen of Albaz or Dino Wrestler Pankratops. The Xyz monsters, Blade and Mosquito, the former a rank 4 needing 2 warriors that lets a ninja you control attack twice, and the latter an Xyz monster at rank 2 with non-specific materials, which OTKs in its own special way. An attack is declared, a counter is placed on a big monster which negates its effects, and every time a battle happens when a monster has a counter, you can burn your opponent for damage equal to the attack points of a monster with a hallucination counter on it. The controller of this card takes no battle damage including it, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. Now, let's get into a few cards you know are worth considering if you know you have to tangle with another master of the ninjutsu arts. Red Dragon Ninja is probably one of, if not the best dragon ninjas in the archetype. Since you're banishing stuff from your graveyard, probably the monster you attributed to summon this, you don't have to go minus to shuffle any set card on the field your opponent controls. You can put it on top or bottom of the deck. While it does target, you get to avoid destruction protection from a field spell. The targeted card cannot be activated in response either, and since you know the location of a lot of the ninjutsu art cards your opponent has access to through Saizo or the art notebooks, they can activate a card that isn't targeted in response. This means Kagero again, but for back row, you're pretty safe. White Dragon Ninja is what ends up happening if you have trust issues. A huge body protecting all of your ninjutsu art cards from destruction, but that's about it.
I'm trying to protect you!
If you don't catch your opponent on too much banishing removal, you'll be able to stall out a whole lot of effects. Unfortunately, it doesn't do much for your opponent attacking you directly. You'd better make sure you have a way to keep your opponent under control while you're sitting there gathering resources. Senior Silver Ninja is another one of those large ninja monsters that focuses on soul charging multiple ninja monsters from the graveyard. Senior Silver Ninja summons any amount of ninjas from your hand or graveyard to your field in defense position upon being flipped face up. If you can keep this card protected, it's just constant advantage every turn. However, only 1 copy of this card can be face up on the field at a time, so hopefully both you and your opponent didn't choose to bring this card. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit awkward if you both draw it. Armor Ninjutsu Art of Freezing is a searchable way to win battle phase if your opponent tries to OTK with direct attacks. You can add it back to your hand using different effects like Dancing Leaves, Baku, or the Art Notebook. Or you can leave it on field for the battle position control effect. Legitimately, I wouldn't underestimate this card in this matchup. Penguin Ninja is a newer, fancier option for dealing with heavy back row decks. Also, it's one of the only ninjas that sets itself face down again independently. So if you need to access one of these to bounce spell traps your opponent controls to the hand, it can pretty easily exist independently of your other ninja plays.
That's a nice opinion, buddy. Jane Meizen. Back soon with more TallerVision.
Billy, what have you done?
Marco! Marco!
may be stupid.
Feeling fruity today, are we?
Oh yeah, more TallerVision. That's fantastic.
Let's get on to a few generic cards now. Some older, some newer. This group of cards is going to include some classic mirror match staples, and some specific tech cards you can use to make a ninja player very sad. Every single one of these won't be getting an in-depth analysis like the others, because you should know most of these already. I read every single ninja card for this video. You can read a couple staples. Aight, let's sound them off. A newer one, made to order Mermaid Out Outfitter, for an extra way to search your pieces while going second. Super Polymerization. While you are contact fusioning the majority of the time, or summoning using Tobari, hard fusion summoning will still work to make your fusion guys. It's especially nice that Meizen cannot respond to Super Polymerization, so when you steal theirs to make your own, you're gaming. Crossout Designator because it's good in every mirror match. You can also get back the ninja you banished for its effect quite easily, so you don't have to worry about losing it forever. It's like playing it as a starter in Goaty. Pure comedy. Drowning Mirror Force will wipe your board clean if you're not careful. Night Flight. Return a ninja monster you control to the hand to negate the effect of your opponent's ninja monsters with the same name. From there, you can resummon it, or use it for a fusion material with something like Tobari. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. Since both of you are going to be relying on your fusion monsters so often, I know the mean ones out there are going to be playing this shit. Lullaby of Obedience. Play as many searchers for your ninja cards as you can. In fact, play searchers for your opponent's ninja cards. Grabbing your opponent's Baku will trigger its effect whether Obedience adds it to hand or special summons. Your opponent's choice really doesn't matter. Don't resolve too many of these though. The cost is 2,000 life points. You'll find yourself dead pretty quickly to direct attacks. Alright, that should give you a pretty decent start to playing this mirror match, but what exactly are you trying to do when you want to win a game with as complex of a gimmick as Ninja has on both sides of the field? At times it's even difficult for me to tell if I'm winning. A significant way to hamper your opponent is to control the amount of arts they can access. Ninja is a deck a lot like Salamangreat, in that it's larger than the sum of its parts. Every effect is stronger not only because of its effect on its own, but because of the rest of your deck being full of ninja monsters. Whoever has the most ninjutsu arts is typically winning the game. The two fusion monsters and the link monster are terribly important. If you can keep your opponent away from them, they lose access to their spell and trap cards, recyclable removal, and any monster they want from the deck multiple times. Permanently remove some key cards with a banish card like your Yugioh Maru or a staple like Cosmic Cyclone to prevent their recovery with art notebooks. Keeping Kagero out of the graveyard will make your targeting removal much stronger as well. Establish a Yugioh as soon as possible, to pop cards every time a flip summon happens. The extra levels will also be absolutely necessary for grabbing all of the other ninja monsters you need from your deck. In the ninja mirror match, Yugioh is basically ultimate conductor trident. Win combat by heavy damage before your opponent can. Make your Meizen and punch hard. The most modest of starts in the ninja deck can blossom into something truly terrifying, so if you have the ability to put down the pressure, you'd better do it as soon as possible. Build around floodgates like with Scary Moth to slow down the game and win with back row instead. You can get away with playing many more generic trap cards here. The rest of it is in your hands. This is legitimately some of the most fun I've ever had playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Sit back, close your eyes, and imagine a world where this is what the top tables look like, instead of a certain other fusion mirror match. Isn't that beautiful? Feel free to send me your replays on my Discord if you're interested in sharing with me how you make this mirror match happen. I'm going back into the editing hole now. Thank you for watching. You're a goddamn genius.